excited to have the chance and the opportunity to interview Margaret Hagan. Margaret is the director and founder of the Legal Design Lab at Stanford, and we're just very happy that you were able to join us for this series of interviews. So thank you very much.
Yes.
So Margaret, you are an uncommon lawyer. You have delved into the legal systems, but you're also interested in technology and design. How do these elements blend, and why is it important when thinking about innovating in a challenging environment like the judicial system?
Well, I think all of these domains, how we act as lawyers and judges, court professionals, how designers act, how technologists act, it's all about problem solving. So it should, in the ideal sense, be about understanding what's going wrong in people's lives or in systems and companies' lives, and how we can intervene to make them better. So I think we're actually united by this common motivation, but designers and technologists bring a little bit more creativity and different kinds of problem solving that can be really complementary to how lawyers solve problems and how people in court solve problems. So this is where I see a huge opportunity, is that if lawyers can adopt some of these mindsets of designers and technologists, or even better, if they can work directly with them, we can come up with much better ways to solve the problems that we know exist, like accessibility to the courts, inefficiency in our government services and court services, and people's understanding of what the law is and how to use it in their everyday lives. So this is what we work on in our lab, about how to both teach lawyers, judges, court professionals, how to think like designers and think like technologists, and how to work with them better so that they can form more powerful new solutions.
Great, and what's the process that you go with them through your lab, or what's the biggest challenge and what are the biggest opportunities when trying to get this new mindset and work with these new tools?
So I find that as we get further into our professional lives, especially it happens even at law school, but especially after you've been working in a job for several years, if not decades, it's really hard to see the system that you're in from the outside. So a lot of what we do at the beginning is we just take a tour of court as if we were actually trying to file for divorce or responding to an eviction notice. So just walking in the shoes of what a litigant has to go through, of going through security, trying to find the right room, bringing all your paperwork, having a translator, and even that kind of small activity can start to kind of take people out of their own shoes and put them in the shoes of the court user. So that's one of the most fundamental mind shifts that we try to get, is that we start to think about what the problems on the ground are. Because oftentimes when innovation happens, or innovation committees are trying to scope new problems or come up with new solutions, we're sat around a boardroom, we're comfortable, we're talking to our peers, we're having nice coffee and fresh water, but we're not connected to what the ground situation of the ground problems are. So we're really insistent on how do we get more community members into those decision-making rooms, and how do we get more of the judges and court administrators back out into the field to kind of get back in touch with all the human problems that are happening around the court system.
So if I'm getting it right, there's a moment for empathy, but then there's also a moment for collaboration and engagement with the public. And for example, what are some of the results that you've obtained through these exercises?
Yeah. So we've been able to scout a lot of the needs. Usually the first half of our process is just documenting where there's core breakdowns, whether it's around language access to the court or self-help services for self-represented litigants. So we've created these kind of top hit lists of where there are crises going on that we need to focus. And then using our power as designers and technologists, we've proposed and started to pilot several of the most promising interventions. So usually we test these out in the field by just showing people cards of new ideas and having them rank them, and then we do small lab tests where we hire people from online to come test run stuff. And if ideas pass those initial tests, then we invest in bigger pilots. So right now, a lot of our most promising solutions are about phone-based navigation. That means process navigation. So in Orange County, California, we're piloting a divorce text message guide. So the court is contacting you after you file a divorce once a month or more if there's problems in your case, but basically just telling you where you are, what's the next step, if anything has gone wrong, just to promote litigants owning the process and not feeling so passive. and also so that they can finish their case more efficiently. Whereas before, people were going several years, didn't even know that their process wasn't finished, and then only finding out later when they tried to get remarried that they hadn't actually gotten divorced. And we're doing the same thing with defendants in criminal cases, just having basic reminders through text about where to go for their hearing, when to come. And we see really powerful and very affordable ways to keep people on track in their navigation of the court process.
And have you also done these exercises? All the examples you're referring are from the court to the outside, for services for the public. But how about for services for inside, for their own consumption, for improving efficiency, or for detecting corruption? Have you done those exercises as well?
So that's the new frontier that we're entering into this year. A lot of that depends on data sharing and their ability to work with outside researchers. So one of the projects we're trying to scope this year is about the enormous number of debt collection cases that get filed in state courts in the US, where there's effectively robo-lawyers and robo-law firms that are just basically spamming the court with debt collection cases. And they're using all of these data-driven automated technologies to flood the court with these cases. So our goal, and courts are motivated as well, to better stop these kind of low-quality debt collection cases from coming into the court, helping to protect litigants from malicious cases filed against them. So we're trying to work out right now if they're comfortable with outside researchers being able to collaborate with them on their data, on their case data, the pleadings data, that we could then work on a better triage system to spot bad cases or expedite certain cases. But I'll tell you, it's slow going getting the trust of courts as a research group that we could have equal access to their data. I found that courts in the US are very nervous about sharing their data, and that actually hampers a lot of the open innovation that we'd like to see happening.
Awesome. So just to sum, I think that what you said is if you want to be an innovator, you first need to know what problem you want to solve, and then understand it from the point of view of the people that are affected by that problem, and then map it out and figure out all the possible points of intervention, and then kind of experiment, pilot, and prototype. Is there any additional suggestion that you will give all of the learners of this course? Yeah,
I would say the biggest lesson to learn is that it seems really hard to invite other types of people into this decision making. It's very tempting to work only within your court staff or court staff plus universities, kind of trusted people. But the more that you can recruit actual users of your court, even though it's uncomfortable and it feels like you're almost like crossing lines, the more that you can get litigants who have been through your court in the past few years to come back and give all of their experiences and ideas, it's just overwhelming how much fresh perspective they bring and really practical advice. And it always feels like there might be money barriers or it's difficult, but it's really worth the investment.
Great. And finally, is there a way that people can contact you, or can anyone just come and say, hey, I want to work with you, I really want to work with your design lab?
Yeah, well, we're very open, and we want especially to have more courses, so more universities besides us at Stanford to have similar labs that are working with local partners. So we're very invested in helping other law schools or design schools set up similar models where they can be an R&D wing or a design wing to a court or a government agency. Also, we have an alliance, a network of people who are working this way called Legal Design Alliance, LEDA. So there we're sharing a lot of curriculum and resources and best practices, and we welcome anyone to come and join our network. And we want to create an ecosystem of people working on this together.
Well, thank you so much, Margaret, for spending this time with us. It was certainly helpful, and we hope that this sparks so many more collaborations and that you continue to do this great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.